Hey fam, sorry I've been kind of on a hiatus, even though I just started this up, the dig a little deeper. But it was all for important reasons. Doing a lot of self-reflecting, going through basically a bout of depression, which is not fun. And it's not completely better yet, but that's okay. I really understand depression, not only just a personal level, but a more profound level, I guess. And I look at depression differently than a lot of people. I don't sit here and try to play victim. I am not trapped by my depression. I look at it completely different, and I want to say it was about a year ago I kind of had an epiphany about it, and I did a video actually on YouTube about this a couple weeks ago about how I perceive depression. And I see depression not as a condition, but as a symptom of an underlying condition. And the way I see it is depression is telling you that you need change, that there's a change that needs to happen. And of course, any external change requires internal change. And so that requires self-reflection and tuning in and slowing down and quieting yourself. And just really understanding, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And that can be hard when you are in the middle of a series of depression, because you feel stuck, you feel unmotivated, you feel lost, you feel helpless. But that is the time to actually maybe just and it's probably easier for somebody with depression to obviously not be motivated, but to, again, slow down and tune in and self-reflect. And so meditation for me is very, very helpful. And I love different forms of meditation. Exercise is a great meditation for me because it just helps me clear my mind. It gets my blood circulating and all of that. And I love still meditation. I like somatic meditation, where I'm tuning into my body. I practice Reiki, and so any energy healing I do for myself, deep breathing. So there's numerous things that I do for myself to try to reset, and especially in those times. Lately for me, what it's been, and I was saying that with depression, there needs to be a change that happens, and the change has to happen within yourself first. So for me lately, it's been all about purging, getting rid of stuff that no longer serves me, whether that be something physical and tangible, like going through my house and getting rid of stuff, which has felt so good. It's like a cleanse. I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels so good to just let go of stuff that really don't serve me and have purpose in my life anymore, and I'm not attached to it. So it's a really good feeling to be able to do that and look back on in the times that I might have been in a different place where I'm like, why did I need that at that point in time? And now I'm really realizing I really don't need it. So it's a good feeling to be able to just let go. So purging, in a sense, I guess, can be like a meditation. You're letting go. So that's been very, very helpful for me lately. So if you are dealing with any kind of depression, again, change is needing to happen. So maybe start with something like letting go of something, whether that be getting off of social media for a while, to going through your closet and getting rid of clothes, whatever that may be. But sometimes just being able to actually let go of something can really open your peripherals a little bit more and help you refocus. So that's what I would recommend. And also, when it comes to change, again, change hurts. Change means growth, right? And so it is a new step in a new direction. And what happens is that we fear change. We are comfortable with complacency, and we're scared of change because of the risk that could be involved. However, growth can't happen without risk. And so it's very important to take note of that it's okay to kind of stumble your way through, I guess, a a growth spurt, so to speak, whether that be in your spiritual life or your career or a relationship or your physical location. But take note of what is not serving you anymore. And be true to yourself about it. And don't just go, oh, well, I'll just see if it gets better. It doesn't work that way. Like, situations like that, I'm sure you've been in a relationship where you're just like, well, maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll get it. Maybe I'll get through to them. It doesn't work that way. You have to start with yourself and start reflecting on what you want and what will make you happy. And that's so important. And it can sound selfish, but it's okay to be a little selfish, because if you aren't tending to yourself, to your ultimate joy, to your ultimate pleasure, to your ultimate like purpose, then what's the point of trying to please everybody else? Like, you are just going to drain yourself. So take care of yourself first. And I look at it this way. This is kind of like a mind twister, I guess, so to speak, but this is something that I'm going to post later. But if you think about it, your present self is not your past self. So who you were is not who you are, but who you were defines who you are now. Does that make sense? So I feel like a lot of us are stuck in that victimization role, where we feel like what has happened in our past is who we are now. Like depression or PTSD even, which I've dealt with myself, PTSD, anxiety. Like, these are all reminders of things that have happened to me in the past, but that they are giving me, there are tools and resources that they do provide if I tune in and I listen and I nurture that it will allow me to develop myself because of what I've been through, not be what I've been through, if that makes sense. So that's something else that I'm focusing on as well, is just making sure that I understand that I am who I am now because of what I've been through, because those things that I've been through in my past are supposed to be stepping stones. Painful as they may be, they can help you determine who you are, who you want to be, who you don't want to be, how you deal with life, how you perceive life. And so it's very, very important to not just let go of the past, but reflect on the past and thank the past, those hard times, those difficult times that you've been through, to bring you to where you are today and who you could be tomorrow, if that makes sense. So that is very, very valuable to me. Also, something that I'm focusing on too is my future. Like, I really feel like there's this ultimate, like, this huge change that I need to be making in my life. And I'm still clouded with what that could be exactly. And it's frustrating, and I think that's where the depression sets in, is like sometimes I do feel kind of lost and I'm not sure where to go, but it's like more of one day at a time. But I also think of it as this: if I have something in mind, like, yeah, I would love this for someday, okay? And taking that, I would love this someday, to be, I'm going to act like I'm there now. And so part of the purging is helping me live more of a minimalist life. Someday I see myself living in a cabin in the woods. I really do. And my partner does too. And that's what we want and strive for. But instead of seeing us where we're at right now and trying to work toward that goal that's way in the future, we got to start acting like we're in that future. So purging, letting go of things that we don't need anymore, finding ourselves getting more in nature, doing things that are setting ourselves up better to be in that place versus just hoping and wishing that one day we'll get there. So it's important to have goals, but you like, in order to be successful, you have to imagine that those goals already have been achieved, you know? So that's the power of the mind. That's the power of thought. So I hope you take all of this in heed, and I hope it helps you in some way. So thank you for tuning in today.